Let's see who's online. Let me see who is online right now for this pop-up. This pop-up live real quick. We gotta talk. We gotta talk. Lord, we gotta talk. I'm inviting people. Y'all help me invite people whoever's on, because it might get a little deep tonight. I feel some type way. We might get a little deep. Help me share this, please. Hit share, because we have got to talk, and I haven't talked to y'all in a minute, but this is well overdue. So please click share for whoever's on here. I got my tag screen up, tagging people so that we can have an adult conversation about what's going on right now. I have a question to ask you all. Maybe as smart adults, we can figure this out together, because what I just discovered, I'm not real. It ain't sitting well with my spirit. It ain't sitting well with my spirit. So please help me invite people so that we can have a little conversation here tonight. Let me see who's on here. Hey guys, hey y'all. Hey cuz, hey Rashonda, hey Janetta, hey Shirley, hey Tia, hey LA. Y'all, we gotta talk. Mark Breedlove, Brian, hey guys, hey Tia, hey Madam President, Council Felicia Moore, hey Cicely, hey Brandy, hey Sachel, hey Larry. Yes, grab a cocktail. Hey Sean Horn, we have to talk. We have to talk. And I hope some people who went to college with me, who got a science degree, will jump on tonight, and so we can talk like some adults. I have a question to ask y'all. I know I'm gonna get some good answers, and I know my answers will help us all figure out what I have to talk about tonight. Yes, get some Ciroc, get whatever you need, because this is we about to get into some stuff. Because I just found something, y'all, that just ain't sitting well with my spirit, and I got to bring this to y'all attention. I've brought this to some more people's attention today, and it ain't sitting well with their spirit either. So I decided to do a Facebook Live about it, just to see what y'all think. Now, I think we got enough people on here, so I need somebody. If you got another electronic device near you, get you a separate device so we can do a little bit adult research real quick concerning COVID. I was talking to one of my, a girl I graduated high school with. She's over the COVID response team for the CDC. And I asked a question yesterday. A question that I asked, I didn't get an answer to. I asked, what is the testing marker that scientists are looking for when they test for COVID? Now, as a person with a science degree, that's an important question for me. I followed up with, is it possible that whatever markers that they're looking for, that we are genetically predisposed? I haven't gotten an answer yet. And so it led me to believe that maybe she went to do some research on the subject matter, because although we know that they are testing for COVID, we don't know when these tests go to the lab which specific markers they're looking for to say a person has COVID. Now, this is something very interesting. Very interesting. A few things very interesting, guys. One thing that's interesting to me is that the test in particular tests, it looks for what's called inhibitors. Inhibitors in the body. Now, anybody who has high blood pressure, any heart condition, hypertension, will be on what's called an inhibitor. If you're obese, you may go to the doctor and they may put you on an inhibitor. An inhibitor shuts off a part of neuron function so that you can stop eating so much. It curbs your appetite. An inhibitor, people are on ACE inhibitors, all sorts of inhibitors. And so the reason I wanted to know which marker these scientists were looking for to say whether a person has COVID is because that test that they're doing in particular is a test that looks for inhibitors. And if you're looking for inhibitors, then that means everybody with underlying conditions is going to have COVID automatically. And then that would make sense the way they were saying that people with underlying conditions will get COVID. That ain't it. That ain't all. That ain't all. I decided, well, let me just see what's up with this COVID stuff. I put all my, I got all my work done, because I've been, hello plants. I've been making witch's brew. and so I made it my business to get all my work done so that I could wrap my head back around this COVID stuff, as we have been doing since March, and we haven't been wrong yet. And so I went in, guys, and I want y'all to write this down. I went into clinicaltrials.gov. These people been running coronavirus tests on us since 2003. Do y'all hear me? 2003, we've been had a myriad of coronavirus tests ran on us since 2003. Go into clinicaltrials.gov. Somebody got an extra laptop on them. While I'm talking, look this stuff up. Because we the adults, got to figure this out. We, the adults, have to figure this out. clinicaltrials.gov. You will see trials all over the world. They're doing sleep studies on people, coronavirus-related sleep studies. They're testing people electronic systems in their body, testing people against ELM, electronic magnetic fields, coronavirus-related. Now, something stuck out to me like a sore thumb while I was on this clinical trial website. And before I get to this, I'm going to lead into this. Can somebody tell me, why am I so dark? Just anybody, tell me, why am I so dark? Why is my skin dark? Can somebody riddle me this? Nobody can tell me why I'm so dark. This is a very important question. I'm dark because I make, she said melanin. All right, we getting somewhere. Well, let's go scientifically, right? I'm dark because I make carbon. I'm dark because of carbon. We could say melanin, but carbon makes melanin the structure that it is. Carbon, sulfur, and copper makes melanin in a nutshell, but mostly carbon. I admit, when I go out into the world, when I go outside, I am a CO2 emissions. So now when you hear CO2 emissions, add yourself to that, right? We emit, we breathe in oxygen, and we breathe out CO2. Carbon, that's the most powerful substance in the world. It's the only substance in the world that is powerful enough to pierce through the ozone layer. Okay? That means this stuff is bypassing every virus, everything that's in the atmosphere, every kind of chemtrail, all kind of everything, and piercing the damn ozone layer. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? And so this is a powerful substance, right? Now, if I breathe out this gas called CO2, what happens if I then strap a condom to my face? What happens when I wear a mask? If I'm black, I make carbon. What happens when I wear a mask? That means now my body is reabsorbing this gas. It's reabsorbing this gas. This gas, this CO2, is now in the bloodstream. Please follow me here. When you keep on your mask for elevated amounts of time, you're not breathing the carbon out as you should be. You're keeping that gas in your body, and now it's in your bloodstream. You have carbon dioxide in high levels in your bloodstream, which is sending off all kind of receptors in your body. And then guess what happens when you go get tested for the coronavirus? Because now too much carbon dioxide in the bloodstream causes a respiratory issue. And so now you got positive respiratory receptors showing up in these test results. And so because the person who was over testing at the CDC could not tell me which specific markers they're looking for to mark people positive or negative for COVID, I'm taking all things into consideration. So elevated carbon dioxide levels will give you a respiratory issue. The worst respiratory issue, in fact, the merely breathing in your own carbon dioxide gives you a respiratory issue. And you know what happens when there's too much carbon dioxide in the blood? Please, somebody. What happens when there's too much carbon dioxide in the blood? You have to go to the hospital and you have to get on a ventilator. This is real life. Outside of the coronavirus, if you have too much carbon dioxide in the blood, that's a horrible respiratory issue. And you have to go to the hospital and get on the ventilator. You have to put the tube in your mouth and put oxygen down and help you with your breathing. That's just one part of it. So I said, okay. So we don't even know what markers they're looking for this test. Good. All right. Cool. Now, I took it a step further. There's a website. It holds all the coronavirus stuff. It's I think that's CCPPL. I can't even read my own handwriting. I wrote it so fast. But I'll put it in here. It houses all the coronavirus data. Now, while I was on clinicaltrials.gov, I saw something that caught my attention. On that website, there was a study where they were using plasma to cure the coronavirus. Now, the plasma was working so well, the FDA decided to make a new rule. And so with this new rule, you know, when you're like in the emergency room, you have to get consent from the person that you're doing work on, or from a family member or somebody legally, to sign off on the procedure. Well, the FDA ruled that out. And so they canceled the study that they was doing using plasma to create coronavirus, to cure the coronavirus. They stopped that study because, and it's on the freaking clinicaltrials.gov. They stopped that study in particular because of the new rule that the FDA released saying we don't got to get nobody permission no more. We just can take the plasma because we're in a state of emergency. And so if your loved one is quarantined in the hospital, the trial started April 1st when they initially started the trial April 1st, taking folks' plasma to cure the coronavirus. Not only that, the new drugs on the market to cure the coronavirus also contains plasma. And so if your loved one is in the hospital, quarantine, and they got that stuff, that blood type that creates this plasma, this electronic ionizing plasma, the liquid gold that you Negroes make, the liquid gold that they were taking when they was putting these plasma banks all over the Negro neighborhood, paying you $40, and then the Red Cross was turning around and selling the plasma to pharmaceutical companies and to companies across seas to cure every ailment, every genetic birth defect, and every virus known to mankind. That same plasma is now used to cure the coronavirus on the back end. Now, you wouldn't know that unless you're reading these government websites. Because on the front end, they saying, oh, this little cute shit. Oh, use Clorox and use glug, 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 and all this damn, fluff that they putting out here. Oh, we're searching for a virus. We're searching for a cure. Well, according to y'all website, you niggas already got the cure. You knew what the cure was going into it. You knew what the cure was in 2003 when you started testing for the coronavirus. And so now that we know that they knew what the cure was, now that we know they knew, certain of us with this dark pigment, with this that creates this plasma that's electric, could cure anything in the world, any ailment, any genetic birth defect. They using plasma to cure cerebral palsy. They're using it to cure cancer. Been doing it. They're using it to cure cancer. They're using it to cure eyesight. All in Europe. Over here too, but mainly over there. Because you remember, back in the early 2000s, mid-2000s, there was this documentary release where these white whistleblowers, they went into the black neighborhood and they was talking to black people, asking them, do they know where their plasma is going? And the black people was like, no, we just, come here to make a little bit of money. These same white people went over to Europe and interviewed the white people who have to get these plasma treatments every week to cure their defects, the defects that they're born with, okay, or whatever ailment they have. They have to get these plasma treatments weekly, and they have to pay thousands for them. And they asked this is on YouTube, y'all can go look this stuff up on YouTube. They asked these people, do you know where your plasma is coming from? And they was like, no, we don't know. And then they told them white people that their plasma is coming from the hood in America. And the look on the white people's faces to find out they getting nigger plasma pumped in their body in order to heal their ailments was shocking, to say the least. Now, when these documentaries start going public, then black people stop giving their plasma. Black people stop giving their plasma because the thing was, y'all giving us $40, then y'all turning around, y'all saying this is going to help somebody, Red Cross. And so y'all giving us $40. Y'all sitting here making billions off of it. You keep the blood, you sell the plasma, the liquid gold to the pharmaceutical companies. The pharmaceutical companies use the plasma literally to create every medication out on the market. Literally. Using the electricity from the Negro body. We said back in March or April, we told people not to go get tested. Do y'all remember that live? When we told people, do not go get tested for the coronavirus. Because there is going to be, on the tech side, a database made with people who test positive for the coronavirus. I remember saying this. I remember talking about this. Not only is there a database of people who tested positive for the coronavirus, they also did antibody tests on y'all, right? Because the antibodies is in the plasma. The plasma is in the blood. The antibodies is in the plasma. They also did antibody tests on these people. So they know who got the antibodies. It's a database of y'all. It's a database of y'all. This is war. This is war. We are at war. There is not a cute way to say this. There are over 200,000 people dead. I can just picture people being quarantined on these floors in order to be ventilated a certain way. You have to be put up under. You have to be unconscious. I can imagine them testing these people and seeing that they had the antibodies and just draining all they and killing them right there. The thought of that. We're at war. Now, they don't have to get permission. They don't have to tell the family that we want the plasma because FDA ruled that out. That's also on the FDA.gov website. They ruled that out. You don't have to get permission. Only thing a person has to do is tell another doctor on the floor, hey, we need to get this person's plasma. 2 signatures, they can get that person's plasma. They can sit there and drain you out until you're dead. Even when you're dead, your plasma and your blood is still good up to about 6 hours, 4 to 6 hours. And so, as adults, we have got to have the proper conversation with the people, first with ourselves, and second, we got to have the proper conversation with Black nurses, with Black doctors, with Black scientists. And for one, ask them why y'all ain't explaining this stuff. I have a science degree, but I don't do science. The closest I do to science is Hello Plants. This is my first time even measuring stuff. I don't do science no more, but I haven't forgot a lot of this stuff either. You know? But for the people who are working in the field, why aren't y'all asking these questions? What are the scientists looking for when they say a person is positive for COVID? Because if they're looking for stuff like, one thing they was looking, one thing I saw that I was like, well, no, because Black people automatically have this. It's something that we make in our body in abundance that other demographics of people don't make. It's something really particular that we make. I can't think of it right now, but it's something really, it's some kind of enzyme that we produce that other people don't produce in abundance. But somebody needs to ask these tough questions. And also, since we know that the white race is on a negative birth decline, and since we know that there are a lot of ailments in Europe and birth defects in Europe where they need our plasma in order to cure themselves. How about the black people, the black nurses, the black doctors? Put an operation together where we're controlling where our plasma go, where we're controlling where our blood go, where we're controlling where the money is going, because we're sitting here giving these people, our loved ones, and they're making billions for their pockets, for their generations, off the very people they call niggas. Now, somebody make that make sense to me. This is a $1 billion enterprise off plasma. And let me take it one step further, y'all. Let me not forget to tell y'all this. It's also another website, USCOVIDplasma.org. Y'all look this up. Plasma, where you can get what they call, I think it's called convalescent plasma. The convalescent plasma is when you start taking plasma out of people while they're alive, basically. So with this convalescent plasma, if you go in quarantine on the quarantine floor, they're going to start this process while you're alive. That's called convalescent plasma. There is a website where you can look up where to get it from. I said, well, let me just type in Albany, Georgia. Lord, please don't let Albany, Georgia be on here. And just to show, you can get bulks of this plasma, Phoebe Putnam Memorial Hospital. How much is Phoebe making off selling people this plasma? How much is Phoebe Putnam Memorial Hospital making? Because they on this website, USCOVIDplasma.org. Biggest day. Phoebe Putnam Memorial Hospital. That's the only place you can get it from in Albany. Good plasma. Good electronic nigger plasma. Now, it may behoove people in Albany who had loved ones to die to reevaluate this stuff. It may behoove people to read. Y'all go on this. It's USCOVIDplasma.org. They're using plasma to cure the coronavirus. Now, it'll behoove people in Albany to look into their loved ones, especially the people who could not have people at their funeral. Those people, the people who was like, oh, we can't, you had to have a graveside funeral, can't be 2-3 people be there. It'll behoove them. I would exhume those bodies. I would take those bodies right out the grave. And I would make sure all them organs are intact. Because we know that the funeral shit didn't have nothing to do with COVID. Because we saw George Floyd's funeral was packed and he had COVID. Some of the most prominent people in that city died. And lo and behold, plasma cures COVID. And the medicine that they're in a rush to get to the market saying, oh, they only have certain amount of vials of it. One of the main ingredients is plasma. Lastly, let me say this before I forget. To all the people who went and got tested for COVID, I know we said don't get tested, but to all the people who went and got tested for COVID and you tested positive, not only is your name in a database, now you have these contact tracers. I feel like we talked about this too. This all feels like deja vu. You have these contact tracers who are now sitting here surveillancing and contacting your contacts, because they use cell phones, cell phone records. They also use credit and debit card records to trace people who you've been around. And that creates an open market. Now, I know back when we was talking about contact tracing, this wasn't even it wasn't widely talked about. But because so many of us was talking about it on the back end, then they had to put these advertisements out like, yeah, we're looking for contact tracers. Who know one person that got a contact tracing job? Do anybody know? One person. Do anybody know one person that then got hired as a contact tracer? Because they're a contact tracing job. They're posted everywhere. They're posted for to make it look good. To make it look good. They posting the contact tracing jobs to make it look good. But the truth of the matter is, these contact tracers, they're also called investigators. I got my own personal name for them. I got two personal name forms, in fact. But these contact tracers are called investigators. These people been hired last year before last, because see, they've been preparing for this. And so if you go apply for a contact tracer job, you're not going to get it, because I wouldn't be surprised if these actual investigators, these actual contact tracers, I wouldn't be surprised if they have security clearance. Can't nothing surprise us at this point, especially with all the marketing they putting out on TV and media to say, oh, we're in a rush for the coronavirus cure, and big as they using goddamn plasma. Also, with these contact tracers, what I also learned on this government website, which one I was on? I think I was on ncbinlm.nih.gov. It ain't just the government doing this. It ain't just the government that's getting bodies, collecting plasma, hiring teams of contact tracers. Corporations are doing it too. Because in the language, it don't just say hospitals and government. It also says corps. It says corporations. So I'm a corporation. I can call down to Albany and get vials of plasma. Or I'm a corporation. I can sell vials of plasma. Who plasma am I gonna sell as a corporation? Do I have teams out here snatching bodies and draining blood and getting plasma? As adults, we got to figure this out, because what we not gonna do is sit here and let the older population keep going to the hospital and keep dying. Now, it's already bad enough that we took our eyes off this shit. Now, we done let all these people die. 90% of people who was ventilated died. Every nurse, every white, black, any don't matter, whatever nurse or doctor come out and try to say, hey, this was going on in the hospital, we killing people. All of them get labeled as conspiracy theorists. All of them. The military nurse that just came out not too long ago that went up to New York. She had glasses that record. She had all kind of recording devices on. She recorded everything. She was showing people medical records. She was telling how people was getting slaughtered. And then they said she's a conspiracy theorist. Well, she works for the military. She's a military nurse. So she's a conspiracy theorist, military nurse. Those of you who are spiritual, y'all go within tonight, please. Go within. We as adults, this is what we How dare us sit here and pray? How dare us sit here and pray to our ancestors, to the universe, to God? Ye are God. How dare us sit here and pray, and then when it comes to matters like this, we turn a blind eye. We don't even try to find out what's going on. But then we want ancestral protection. What? You ain't even find out how I died? You ain't do nothing about it? You ain't even try to look into it? And I'm supposed to come and protect you? We got to do, I mean, we got to figure this out. The masks are incorrect. Because if we wear them, I'm just recapping. Because I went into Kroger today, and I was told I couldn't shop unless I had on a mask. And so it just so happened I had a mask in my, I'll keep a mask in my purse or whatever. I don't wear it. I keep it strapped to my chin, like a chin strap. But to appease the people, because I needed to get my stuff out of the grocery store, I went on ahead and put my mask on and looked stupid like everybody else in this hot ass weather, with this black ass skin, with this plasma that cures every disease in the world, with this carbon that's powerful enough to bypass everything in the atmosphere, every virus, every bacteria that we come in contact with when we walk outside. The carbon, the stuff that we make in our body, is powerful enough to get through all of that and put a hole in the ozone layer. The oldest DNA in the world. The oldest DNA in the world, and I'm wearing a mask to try to prevent myself from getting a respiratory virus. And then they taking the plasma and curing other folk and pretending like I died from it. Y'all, this don't make sense. This does not make sense. None of it makes sense. It is a war. It is the worst war that we've seen in our lifetime. They tried this with Ebola. Now, mind you, plasma was also used to cure Ebola. It was also used to cure Ebola. And so all these kind of diseases, right, that just be popping up and reintroducing themselves. What's next? I mean, let me see what y'all saying. My coworker almost died in the hospital being on the ventilator after they what's this? He kept unplugging himself from it because he felt it caused his lungs to collapse. Yeah, they said the ventilators, they said because the reason they have a 90% fatality rate on the ventilators is because they literally burst the lungs. The ventilators were made by the car company. It wasn't made by GMC. It was made by one of the car companies. These ventilators are powerful enough, to bust lungs. How did this slip past us? Why ain't no celebrities talking about this? Where everybody at? What are the science? Where the doctors at? Where the black nurses at? Where the scientists at? Nobody's saying nothing. Nobody. Everybody's saying, yeah, wear a mask. Even the scientists are saying, yeah, wear a mask, as if y'all didn't get the same goddamn biology degree. We got the same biology degree. You know about carbon dioxide. You know it's a gas. You know what happens when that gas get in the bloodstream. You know it. But you're not going to say nothing. You're going to let all these people get carbon dioxide, you're going to let these people get poisoned? You're going to let them create their own respiratory issue. You're going to let them create respiratory failure just by having too much carbon dioxide in the blood. Carbon dioxide is a gas. It ain't cute. You know, melanin sounds cute. But let's call it what it is so we can get more serious. It's carbon. We, black folk, this is carbon. This is the most powerful substance on the periodic chart. It's the most misunderstood element on the periodic chart. Every scientist could tell you this. It's the only thing that changes. And when they was trying to make the batteries out of melanin, because they're using our bodies for so much stuff, because we got the same plasma that's in the atmosphere. We got the same plasma. It's the same star stuff. The same stuff that's on the sun, they say. It just so happens it's in our bodies too. And so when we, I lost my train of thought. I'm trying, let me not get upset because that's hypertension. And hypertension is a pre-existing condition. And so when we go out in the world with this melanin and this plasma, we as adults need to realize who we are. And I know everybody ain't been to church in a minute, but let's not forget that little scripture, that little bit of scripture in the Bible, that little bit of scripture that said, ye are gods. Who are they? Who's the ye? Do y'all want me to translate y'all last names? Most of your last names, if you translate your last name to Hebrew, you will see who the ye's are. You'll see it. I dare y'all. Go put your last name in Google Translate and translate it to Hebrew. Jackson, Johnson, Johansson, Jean, all of that stems from one. It don't stem from no Jackson. It stems from Yeshua. And then you translate that back to the theologic. That translates to Yahweh. So you... Y'all, we got to do something. We have to do something. People who lost a loved one, friend, or anybody, my condolences. I can't even. I broke down when I was looking at this stuff last night because I couldn't even believe. And the fact that, and I'm going to tell y'all something else. I ain't gonna be before you too long, like the pastors used to say before this stuff got shut down. They have been testing stuff on people since 2003. This coronavirus. See, white people plan differently. They plan way ahead, right? And so for our elderly people, our parents, our aunties, our uncles, we need to go through their medication. We need to go through their medication because there's something happening. They've been given these cute pills to take. Cute, really cute pills. They take this to lower your blood pressure. Anything with Pril on it. Anything with Pril. It's another. Go on. I think it's drugs.com. You can look up any medication. I was on there last night. Anything with Pril on it is an inhibitor. There are also these calcium blockers that they have been given people in black community and white community, A and O blood type, to lower their blood pressure. Now, all of this is tied in together. Now, let me tell you, this inhibitor, it blocks the angiotensin system. Now that y'all might not know what I'm talking about, but this this system that regulates the functions in the body. These inhibitors block this system because, you know, they said if we just block this, it'll lower your blood pressure. Instead of telling people diet and exercise. I know they tell the white people, go eat an apple and exercise until your system goes back up. They tell the black people, take this little pretty pill to lower your blood pressure. And then next thing you know, you own 5 little pretty pills and 10 little pretty pills. And then you're on, if you got any kind of heart issue, they put you on what's called a calcium blocker. And if you're on this, please pay attention. This calcium blocker blocks off the electronic system in your body. Now, this electronic system, when it's blocked off, then the renin system is blocked off. Because this electronic system controls the renin in your body. This ACE is these ACE inhibitors. That's what they use to block the renin. Calcium makes the renin produce. Right. So when you block all these systems off in the body, now your body is working due to the medicine. Now, when COVID hit, they started charging black folks for some of this medicine that they was getting for free. Now they got to pay. But now the economy is tanked. Now their body is dependent on these medicines because their systems have been shut off. Now they're in a situation. And so if you have aunties, uncles, parents that's on medication, go to drugs.com, look up their medication, see whether they're on any inhibitors, see whether they're on any calcium blockers, and put together a plan to help wean them off of it by any means necessary. They can't just stop taking it because that's going to cause issues. But put a plan together where it's diet and it's all this stuff is diet. All of this stuff is diet based. You have the oldest DNA in the world. Your body can literally fix itself. Now, the reason why it's so important is because there is a new vaccine coming out. And this new vaccine can modify this CA blocker. The medication that blocks the calcium, the new vaccine can modify that medication if it's in your body. So if you got this medication in particular in your body, and I put this vaccine in there, I can modify what that does to your body. I can change your gene. I can change your genes. When you go on clinicaltrials.gov, that study is on there too. Everything that people thought were conspiracy theories, it's some truth to all of it. There is a vaccine on there. On this damn website, there is a chip. It's on the website. And this stuff on clinicaltrials.gov, this is just stuff that people listed. Imagine all the stuff that they didn't even bother putting on the website. The electronic magnetic frequencies. The calcium blocker. If you have a calcium blocker and you go around these towers, because that calcium blocker is blocking off your electronic system, it stops the ions, right? If you go around these towers, your body then reacts to the electronic frequencies on the towers. I learned that last night on clinicaltrials.gov. They're doing a trial to see how humans on these specific medications react to electromagnetic frequencies. I'm just trying to see what I'm just trying to see what we're going to do. How far do I need to scroll back up, y'all? Because I see this chat went. Sister, you've been on my mind. Well, I hope it's a good thing. I hope it's a good thing. We have got to figure this out. COVID-19 isn't a virus, it's an exosome, which is an immune response. It's how the immune system communicates with itself regarding an issue or problem. Let me tell you, when you go on clinicaltrials.gov, that is closer to it. Because when I was looking on it last night, I said, now this ain't the virus here. Now, oh God, y'all, oh. This is the reason why I was telling y'all about medication. The inhibitors, y'all, the inhibitors that our black elderly people been on, the system that regulates the inhibitors, they're studying that system because they said that the black people make something in this renin system that causes crystallization. And they said this crystallization, they're calling these people crystallizable glycol something mutants. Black people with O and A blood type who makes these crystals, right? Black people, when the fight or flight response happen, according to scientists, when the fight or flight response happen in our body, which that CA blocker blocks those ions that the calcium blocker blocks, controls fight or flight. When the fight or flight system is inactivated, the body then takes everything in its vicinity, sugar, carbohydrates, everything, and crystallizes it. And it turns into crystals in the lungs. And under a microscope, scientists have been looking at this, and they see that these little cells, they look like crystals, and they're housed in the lungs during the fight or flight response in these Negroes. Now, they're taking that, and they're saying they're going to use this to make novel drugs. Because whatever chemical response that happens, it causes this glycosylation or some kind of silation. It's a plasma substance that's made in large quantities when this particular fight or flight response happens in these Negroes that allows them to crystallize. Fat, carbohydrates, if you ate a bag of chips, it's all going to be crystallized during the fight or flight and turned into little crystals under the microscope. Please look this up. I was looking it up last night. Now, I knew about the renin system. I knew about the angiotensin. I knew about the ACE inhibitors. But I didn't know that scientists had discovered that the fight or flight system, which if you got high blood pressure and all this, they use a calcium blocker so that you won't even get to that system. When that system is enacted, I didn't know that it made little crystals. And did y'all know that? It makes your cells look like crystals? Diamonds in your lungs? Now, to your point, Jason, when I was reading this stuff, I noticed that it said in cove. And I also noticed that they're looking to house what happens in our renin system. They're looking to house that and make novel drugs using this liquid, this plasma, that's made during fight or flight. And they're specifically calling it novel drugs. Now, the human coronavirus is H-CoV. And there are maybe 4 different human coronaviruses. The one that gives you a cold is E229. And I remember E229 for obvious reasons. So the human coronavirus is H-cov. The coronavirus that we're seeing, it's called N-cov. The N stands for novel. Now, it's mighty funny that y'all using this same term, novel, to take this stuff out the Negro body, to study it, to make more drugs, what you're calling novel drugs. To cure, you're making novel drugs to cure other ailments in the body. Birth defects. The quicker we realize that we're powerful, that our bodies are powerful, that we got the God stuff, the quicker we realize that, the quicker we realize that, it's people across the water that needs us. We have everything hammered at us, guys. We have all kind of stuff, all kind of viruses. They put all kind of stuff in the water. They put all kind of stuff in the food. When this stuff hit the Negro system, the body turns the shit to crystals. You mean to tell me y'all wasn't gonna make that public? Crystal. They call it crystallization glycosomething mutants. Look that up, y'all. Crystallizable glycosomething mutants. During fight or flight, certain blood types turn anything that's in there into crystals. And the crystals are housed in the lungs. So you put a nigga under a microscope, all you gonna see is Swarovski crystal diamond looking stuff. That's what the cell structure look like. God. Y'all. Don't wear no mask. Don't wear a mask. Because you can't afford to breathe in your own CO2. That's what the atmosphere for. Your CO2, when you breathe out your carbon dioxide, it make the trees green. I got outdoor plants on the inside, green plants. They get carbon dioxide from me. They need carbon dioxide in order to turn green. So, and y'all notice, when everybody is in the house, when we're on quarantine, the numbers are low. We could just be adults and put 2 and 2 together. The numbers are low. When we're in quarantine, the numbers are stabilized. And when everything is open back up, the numbers go up. But could it be that the numbers are going up because people now have to wear a mask to go in places? They now have carbon dioxide in their bloodstream. They now have to go get tested for coronavirus. And now one of those testing markers is going to show that I have a respiratory issue. And now you get to mark that as positive for the coronavirus because the coronavirus is a respiratory issue. Yikes. I'm sorry, y'all. I was going to be real sweet tonight. They be trying to argue on Facebook. Wearing masks, pros and cons. Honestly, I believe it's helpful, but don't wear 24/7. Take off as soon as possible. Also, I leave room on the side. Got 21 years healthcare experience. Okay, Brandy, I get it. I understand. But also, now we can go a little bit deeper. Shall we? Who remembers their dreams? Raise your hand if you remember your dreams. If you got too much carbon dioxide in the blood, you ain't even going to remember your dreams. You ain't even going to have access to that spiritual realm. You ain't even going to have access. You're not going to remember. Not remembering your dreams is directly related to that gas in the bloodstream. Now, when you're in REM sleep, it lowers that gas in the bloodstream on a regular basis because we ain't got no mask strapped to our face. On a regular basis, when you're in REM sleep, it lowers the gases in your bloodstream, carbon dioxide in particular. And that's how you're able to remember your dreams on a regular basis. But now that you're walking around with a mask on your face for more than an hour, it don't matter. You got high levels of this gas in your bloodstream. You're not going to. It affects your dream state. But I'm smarter than a fifth grader, yeah. Did you know carbon is mutating due to some new exotic cosmic particles interacting with it? Scientists say they can no longer carbon date accurately. Well, guess what? When the carbon reacts in the atmosphere, it reacts in us too. And so we're elevated when the atmosphere is elevated. Because what the two and two together that people ain't putting together is we're made from this star stuff. This dark matter, that's us. And so if anything changes in the atmosphere, it also changes in the dark humans. And so that could be another reason why they have to get so much of our plasma to study what's going on up there. And as I was saying, when they was trying to use our melanin to make batteries, the reason why they couldn't do it is because they couldn't stabilize the melanin. They couldn't stabilize it. So when we die, our melanin is still alive. That's why they're able to sell it on the stock market. And they're able to make all kind of stuff out of this melanin, right? But they don't know how to stabilize it. They can't stabilize the charge. They can't stabilize it. So they can't even understand us. There is a group of scientists that only study melanin. They only study carbon. They only study melanin. That's all they do. It's a whole group of scientists. They don't even let black people in there, in that scientist group. Dr. Jewel Pookrum talked about this. Go look up Dr. Jewel Pookrum. She talks about this a lot. They don't even let black people in that whole crew that just study melanin. They study how it changes. They've been trying to stabilize this stuff. They've been trying to stabilize this stuff for years. They cannot figure it out. In the science community, carbon is the hardest element. Nobody can figure it out because it changes. And it just so happens we make it. And so they study us to try to see what's going on in the cosmos. And that's why they also use melanin for those rocket ships. Because carbon can bust through the atmosphere. Don't get me started. And we think this all cute. Saying melanin is cute. But let's call it what it is. It's carbon. It's carbon. Carbon makes that melanin structure. Girl, I was thinking this a few months ago, but if family members are in the hospital with no visitation, then who is signing the consent? They no longer have to. They no longer have to. My family is dealing with this now. Cover my aunt, and she don't even have corona. They are doing stuff to her. Get her out of there, Tia. Get her out of there. Get her out of there. They have no jurisdiction to do nothing. Get her out of there. Or they're going to get her out of there. Let me tell y'all. Don't let these people go to the hospital by themselves. Don't let nobody over 50, nobody over 45 actually, go to the hospital by themselves. My mom had to go to a doctor's appointment. I went with my gun visible. Because I wasn't finna let my mama go in there by herself. She got all the signs, right? They got her on an inhibitor. They got her on these calcium blockers. That's all, according to their website, their government website. This is what they've been looking. These are the studies that they've been doing to get the plasma out of these folk. So now their plan has come to fruition. And these are the people that we're letting go to the hospital by themselves unknowingly, not knowing that they was doing all these tests, running all these tests with testing these. We're thinking they just take the medicine, it's going to lower their blood pressure and it's going to come out. No. Some of these pills stay in the system. A vaccine can activate the calcium blocker and change the gene. Which gene are they going to change? Your skin color gene, your eye color gene, your hair gene? Which part of your genetics Do you think because it's a new strand that they really don't know how to cure it? They know how to. Well, thank you, sharing. You're so right about plasma. I'm witnessing. Yes, love. So is the Henrietta Lacks story all over again? Yep. Every Negro and see the doctors. I thought I had wrote it down. I did write it down. There's something called what is that? I can't read my own handwriting. Elevated levels of D-dimer in plasma. Elevated levels of D-dimer. There's something called D-dimer in plasma. And it says, D-dimer. And it says African Americans in particular. Not Africans. Not black Spaniards. Not Hawaiian blacks. African Americans make elevated levels of this D-dimer stuff in the plasma. And this is the stuff that's curing the goddamn viruses. Now, how can it cure viruses in them but can't cure it in us? Or is it because you got me on a medication to block my system, to inhibit my system, so that it can't? Don't let people go to the hospital by themselves, y'all, and check everybody. Everybody medicine need to be checked. Everybody medicine need to be checked. Go on drugs.com. Everybody medicine need to be checked. Yeah, we are. I refuse antibody tests because I asked for written information that blood would be used for. Well, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. You can't trust them. No, we can't trust nobody. Nobody but ourselves. Black scientists, black nurses, black doctors. It will behoove us. I'm not talking just black. I'm talking African American. Because as we know, there are a group of black people who sit there and work with white people to do this stuff. Sit here and throw us under the bus because they know it's our blood that's on the line. They know it's our blood that cure everything because we got the oldest DNA. It's kind of funny that we from the motherland and we got different blood types from Africans. And it just so happened our blood type is the oldest. It's just some funny stuff going on. Lied to all the way around, y'all. All the way around. Literally sitting here targeting our people. The feds are trying to stop this combo. Them, they know. I probably got one upstairs. I know the cops be up there all the time right up top of me. I think that's them upstairs. Definitely somebody upstairs. I might be one of the people that's surveillanced. They need bullets though. Okay. Oh my God, those poor people who sought treatments, tests, had no idea what they were being. They had no idea. They had no idea. I've been trying to spread this message forever. Believe we've been doing it. We've been saying this stuff since March, Marla. March. Believe asking questions why I was took off schedule and placed on COVID-19 only unit. Think not, y'all ain't infecting or killing me. Wow, Brandy. And you know the contact tracers, right? They got this contact tracer website. Cute little website. Telling the contact tracers who to target. And you know nurses are on that list, right? They're targeting nurses too. So they're not just targeting people who test positive and their friends. They're targeting nurses too. And I don't believe this is no cute stuff that they're trying to stop the spread of a virus. I believe this is an open market. This is an open market that they just done created. It's an open market. What Pookie at? You came in contact with Pookie. Okay, we can get Pookie phone number out your records. And when you go get tested for the coronavirus, there's something that you sign. Something that you sign. Better watch what you sign. When you go pick up your medication now from the store, there's something that you sign We're in a state of an emergency. Don't sign a goddamn thing. Because not only on this FDA.gov website, it's a list of ways that they can get you. They can get your plasma without get your organs. They can get it. Because if you go on the FDA.gov website and read through that new rule, a telephone conversation on a recorded line, if they say, ma'am, you got a doctor's appointment, I need to come in and do this treatment. If you say yes on a recorded line, they can use that as consent. If you sign a blank piece of paper, they can use that as a consent. If you go and pick up your medicine, it's going to ask you, do you consent for counseling and something else? If you click yes, they can use that as consent. Or they don't have to get your consent at all. They can just get another person on the floor and say, hey, this person needs, and those 2 signatures is your consent. This some bullshit, y'all. This some bull. No one is listening at all. There are markers. None of the tests are literally testing for an active virus at all. Wow. That's what I asked my friend who is over the coronavirus response team for the CDC. She can tell me what markers they're looking for when they're. That said a lot to me. I love her to death. She's probably watching. I love her to death. But the fact that nobody can give an answer on what markers they could be looking for this D-dimer. They could be looking for D-dimer when they do the test. Now, if they're looking for D-dimer, then that's every nigga in. That's every Negro. And every white person that's mixed with Negro. I mean, not all Negroes, American Negroes in particular. You know, the ye are gods. I'm currently working on a COVID unit in Texas, and I haven't seen them do any removal of plasma. We do screen people to see if they qualify for plasma. You haven't seen it. You haven't seen it. Now go on uscovidplasma.org and type in your hospital on there and see whether your hospital is selling plasma. Because they ain't going to let everybody see these operations. You know that, right? There are specific people in the hospital that's mixed in with specific people. You ain't in that crew. These people been training for this. Don't get this twisted. Now these people, they're not gonna let you in because see you gonna ring your mouth. You gonna tell us what's going on, right? So you can't know that plasma is being used to cure COVID. But go on uscovidplasma.org and see where you can get plasma from, and they're all the hot spots. Explains why they're giving extra money. They're getting more plasma and selling it to Pfizer, Moderna, Bayer. Yep. Sure. Yep. Because what's the name of that drug that's finna come out? I thought I had wrote it down. Maybe I didn't. But there's a new drug that's finna come on the market. There are all kind of investment bankers that invested in this new drug, the whole 9 yards. And that drug uses plasma. Not only do that drug use plasma, that drug, in particular, the people had plasma stockpiled from the Ebola crisis. So they didn't have plasma just in the freezer, just chilling. Ready for a moment like this. Also, I refuse to get tested every 21 days. You said don't let them folks test you. No, they putting people in a database, and you think it's something to put being an organ donor on your license? You better watch what you sign when you go get tested for this coronavirus, because you, when they test you for them antibodies and they see you got them, they need lots of plasma. They don't need people just giving a little plasma out the needle like when you go donate plasma. No, they need the whole system drained. And now it's so crazy That when you put two and two together, and it's like all them people that went missing last year in this whole, what was it called? Adrenochrome stuff. They said they was draining people blood. When people get missing, they was draining all the blood out. Oh. Well, that sure make a lot of sense now. Especially being that you could be a corporation and be included in this. We could be a corporation right now and form our own team, literally form our own team of contact tracers. Y'all, Phoebe is an epicenter. I know a bunch of nurses working there. Wow. Blood draws normally third shift 4 to 6. I work for Leading Hospital, which owns a rehabilitation and nursing home in Atlanta. And Emory been conducting coronavirus tests on people for a minute too. Emory on this clinicaltrials.gov. Conducting these folk conducting all kind of tests on us. It's ridiculous. Phoebe was built off us, so I'm not surprised. Well, you know, we the next step need to take some of these bodies out this ground. Let me see what's in my relative body, because if the organs ain't in this body, everybody involved, this will start a civil war. Talking about a civil war, this will start people to fight back. If them organs ain't in that body. Because I know they put a Negro over. The Negro was the embalmer person for Albany. He made Time magazine, the whole 9 yards, right? If them organs ain't in that body. Just like they had to exhume Kendrick Johnson body down there in Colquitt. Y'all, they had better start exhuming some of those bodies down there in Albany. Because you talking about people who ain't really mixed with nothing. They only Aborigines. They only mixing A and O blood type. They only mixing with each other down there. You see very few people in Albany that just, in the South, in that South quadrant of Georgia in particular, them people ain't mixed down there. They got that stuff. They got that good stuff. Potent. I went to Albany State, and they used to be on campus and all around town advertising, get money to donate plasma. That they got that good stuff. Yes, this isn't the first live I've watched of her. Oh, y'all talking to each other on here. Oh, my bad. Since we know Orvis Hargan's part of the invisible virus. Yeah, that was our first thought was, you know, they're killing people in the hospital and they're trafficking the organs. But that still does not cure the actual virus. But when you look at the fact that not only are you trafficking organs, you getting the plasma. And you literally said on that y'all using the plasma to cure the virus. That's what y'all talking about in y'all conversations on the back end. So you trafficking plasma. That's what this killing machine about. This killing machine ain't just about organs. It's about plasma. Plasma. Electronic plasma. We have to be tested at work. Nurses have to be tested. Ooh, no God. It's a good time for Negroes to pull money together and start our own systems, healthcare system. We had it before, we could do it again. It makes me think that's probably why those black people started their own healthcare system during the whole, what was that, the yellow, one of those viral outbreaks that happened. And it will also behoove us to start our own school system. I don't care if this school system has to be started online. Negroes better start their own school system. Negroes better take this opportunity. Now, we can play along with this coronavirus stuff, right? We can say, oh, yeah, there is a virus. Let's start our own school system. So we don't want our kids to go back to school because there is a virus. We need some money for our school system. Because we don't want our kids to be. Now we can play along now. And squeeze some money from the government. And create a school system. Because there's enough black teachers to sit here and create an online learning system. It ain't hard to build. And sit here and create a learning system and sit here and pay yourself. Or charge the parents a fee and get paid that way. And teach these children what they actually need to know. Now, I cuss a little bit. But I teach them some history. Or I teach an actual teacher the history so they can teach them. Because the books that are in the school is what, McGraw-Hill? They're still learning that McGraw-Hill books? Because those are German books. Those books, that's the Germans are making those books. The Germans are teaching Negroes their history. And that's why it's wrong. The same Germans that fought our ancestors during the Civil War. 1860 through 1865 Civil War. The same Germans that came and kicked our folk ass in here teaching our children with these German-owned books. Your president is German too. Keep trying to tell these people we at war. There is a silent war going on. Yeah, it's a silent war going on because we ain't fighting back. I don't take flu shots, and I won't be taking that shit. No, please don't. They're probably newly trained FBI agents and CIA agents. Yep, there you go. Doctors on payroll. She's going to come up missing. Talking about that nurse. Well, she a military nurse. They can't do nothing to her. She ain't just a regular nurse. She a military nurse. So you ain't gonna kill nobody that's involved with the military to make you look too bad. If she was a regular nurse, they probably would have. But this was a military nurse. She went in there with freaking cameras on her goggles, and she had a microphone. They ain't see none of this stuff. They just eating the cheese, saying, "Oh yeah, we finna kill." Eating the cheese. Y'all go look the documentary up. It's something. It's something else. It's something else. It's two kind of doctors right now. Those that are following orders to kill people, and those who are being made to look crazy for speaking out. Yep. That there are two kinds of doctors and two kinds of nurses. And that's what I was saying to my homegirl when I responded to her comment. They're not going to tell you what's going on because you ain't in that clique of nurses that know what's going on. It's two of y'all. It's two. Like you said, Justice. It's two type of doctors and it's two type of nurses, and they have permission from the higher up. They have orders from whoever are the higher ups. And that's what this white lady was talking about on this documentary, this military nurse. Even she said that in her documentary. One of the doctors said that to her, that he got this order from the higher ups to do not resuscitate order. So if somebody on the ventilator and something happened, they can't resuscitate them. They got to go and kill them because they want that liquid gold out of them. That plasma. What is crazy was that at first wear a mask and then said wearing a mask is not good. Now back to wearing a mask. Some all are children of the Most High. They are getting extra money for COVID deaths because they are selling the plasma. Yeah. We need to celebrate hello plants. We do. We really do. ACE inhibitors. Yes, Auntie, please don't tell me you want an ACE inhibitor too. Yep, that's my mom. She's taking so many pills. Please, we got to look through all not even just elderly. Everybody black, anybody with A and O blood type. You got to look through these pills because it's a vaccine coming out. And the vaccine, once it's inactive with this pill, it can change your genes. That's why Milana Gates said that black people need to get the shots first. Fuck that ugly ass girl. Ooh. That man. Tell her to get in line first. You were speaking the truth, sis. You were speaking the absolute truth. This is what the vaccine is about. Yeah, unfortunately, man. Unfortunately. Y'all know, I wouldn't just come out and just say some stuff. I didn't sleep last night, y'all. At first, I had a little breakdown because I realized that, man, you know, I had a little issue with my mom in the hospital last year with this little heart attack they said she had, you know. And it just took me back to that when with all the stuff she was going through in the hospital, and now all the medicine that she's on, and she done lived all her life never having high blood pressure, never having nothing. And you know, that's a long story. Don't even get me started on that. But that situation turned me mentally into a killer, because how they was handling my mom in the hospital. I told them, I said, y'all kill my mama, I'm gonna kill y'all. My mom was on the coma. When my mama woke up out of the coma, my mama said, consciously she heard me say that. I told every nurse and doctor in that room, y'all kill her, I'm going to kill y'all. And I meant it. Because you sitting here jerking my mom around. She got X's on her feet, her body cold. You sitting here telling my family she alive. She was dead at that point. You know? And even how she cold blue was weird. Because I don't understand how a person can be screaming and be cold blue at the same time. Either they dead or they alive. And my dad left her in the room for 1 minute. And that it was a cold blue call, and all those people went rushing in her room, and my dad heard her screaming. And by the time my dad got back to the room, he couldn't even get in the room because there was so many people in there. The whole thing, I don't even want to go back to it, because it'll piss me all the way off. But I tell you this, my mama ain't going to no doctor by herself without me being strapped. Now that I know what the situation is, and all the doctors be looking at her chart like, oh my God, I can't believe you survived this. And now that I know that they have been testing for this COVID stuff, been testing these COVID techniques and all this shit, and pills and shit on these people since 2003. All right. I'm going to go through my mom's medical files, and if I see anything about COVID, if I see anything about coronavirus in there, y'all gonna have to come get me from the jailhouse. Y'all gonna have to come get me from the jailhouse. I'm gonna send y'all your products first, and then I'm gonna head on to Piedmont, Buckhead, because I felt like my whole family felt like something fishy was going on. Now it makes sense when they intentionally put those strong ventilators in these hospitals. Yep, intentionally making people's lungs collapse for those crystals. Bingo. Being used as guinea pigs from day one. Yep. I love Hello Plants. My Sicilian olive skin is glowing. Oh, thank you, Jen, for supporting. I appreciate it. Child, you saying something. I hope this go viral, and y'all contact tracers might come knocking at my door because I done spilled the tea. But I'm going to say, nah, this y'all shit. Y'all the one put it out there. You just thought niggas didn't read. I only wear a mask if I have to go inside a place. That's your best bet. I agree, but I don't believe as a nurse that they're necessary. People don't wear them as long as we do. I agree with the other healthcare person. Don't wear a mask at home or in the car. I advise everyone, folks, you haven't been around. Also, leave room for airflow. The everyday person doesn't wear their mask for hours. If you black like me, if you're darker than a paper bag, even if you're lighter than a paper bag, it'll behoove you to not wear that mask for 5-10 minutes. You're gonna make you breathing in too much carbon dioxide. You can't afford to breathe in your own carbon dioxide. I can't afford that. Maybe Keisha Lance Bottoms can afford to breathe in her own carbon dioxide because she don't make as much carbon and melanin as my body make. I'm black. I'm down there midnight black. Ain't but one shade of black darker than me, and that's my dad. My dad is the darkest shade of black. His whole family, they're the darkest shade of black. Imagine if we wearing a mask all day, over 10 minutes. We about half dead. And when carbon dioxide get in your bloodstream, it also affects your brain functions. It's a lot of stuff that happens when carbon dioxide enters the bloodstream in high levels. That's what I'm saying. I don't know why scientists ain't talking about this. This is important. While it's cute that, oh, we got something going on in Atlanta where the governor is suing the mayor. All that stuff is cute and entertaining. But yeah, let's talk about the real issue. The sickness that's going to happen, the respiratory failure that's going to happen when people wear these masks for elevated amounts of time. We have to call and get consent for treatments. No, ma'am. You better go on FDA.gov. You do not have to get consent anymore. That was passed. And see, that lets you know that it's certain nurses who know and certain nurses who don't. Certain doctors who know and certain doctors that don't. A group of black epidemiologists suing the city and state. Really? I'm not sure what's happening in Georgia, but in Texas, we must have consent form patients. If patients come in unresponsive, we do what's medically necessary. No, baby. You got to go and see what the government done told y'all. They doing something totally different. D-dimer lets you know if your blood is going to clot. Right. That clotting is what they need. It's the clot mechanism. Because everybody don't form clots, right? Everybody's blood does not clot. Or I think they're using the clot mechanism in the plasma to make drugs or to make some kind of novel drugs to cure something. But the clotting mechanism, it's what's important. We regularly check their D-dimer, lactic acid, and prolactin. I can't read tonight. Yeah, well, I hope that coronavirus test isn't testing for D-dimer, because if it is, then that's Negroes. It's clear the oldest DNA evolution time. That is why we are physically dominant in all aspects. Exactly. I'm sure AJC has an article I've seen on Believe 11 Alive 2-3 months ago state fired most, if not all. Oddly, everybody was black. New people from out of state. That's the same thing happened in Albany with the nurses down in Albany. Right before the corona murders started happening in Albany, a lot of nurses were fired, and then new nurses were brought in to deal with the murders. If I use my good brain, I would come to the conclusion that happened in every hospital where a lot of murders happen. Because I know the people who grew up in Albany, the people who are from Albany wouldn't sit there and let a new group of people come in and slaughter their home team. Now, I left Albany when I was 18. I ain't been back. But God, you better not say nothing about Albany in front of me. I love it so much. I love the people so much. People that I don't even know from Albany, I got a connection to these people. It's the same tribe. Now, you ain't finna do nothing to my tribal members and me not say nothing. That is the same mentality that I'm sure those original nurses from Albany would have. They wouldn't let people come in and do that slaughter mission, especially on the people in Albany who were murdered. Prominent people were murdered. They wouldn't have let that happen. They had to get them nurses up out of there. I definitely believe that about nurses. My friend's aunt worked for Grady as a nurse for years, and she just died from COVID on Wednesday. And she was taking care of her elderly mother and passed COVID to her. And she did Thursday. My friend is hurting. So, oh my God. The human coronavirus. H-cove. That's COVID. This novel COVID. No black people aren't dying of COVID. They're not dying of COVID. This is a respiratory issue. And I wonder, does wearing a mask make this pneumonia that is created in the lungs? Does it make it worse? Because I've heard one doctor say that this new COVID is a double pneumonia. It's like pneumonia in both lungs. So I wonder if wearing a mask and having a pre-respiratory issue because there's too much gas in the blood, and then you come in contact with this novel coronavirus, this novel COVID. But then they're using the plasma in your body to cure it. The plasma that you make to cure it. So I wonder if does your friend have A or O blood type? Because they could have B blood type or AB blood type. Because people with A and O blood type, they are called crystallizable mutants. And their plasma is being taken. So all black people don't have the same blood type. By far. All right, y'all. I wasn't going to be on here all night. I just wanted to come in, and the moral of the story is everybody check their medicine. Everybody check these websites and really comb through it, because I combed through it quick last night, but I know it's a whole lot of stuff I missed. And if all the adults get on this, we all won't miss it. Clinicaltrials.gov, cell.com. You can learn about the cells that turn into crystals under the microscope. ncbi.nlm.nih.gov. I went on Bloomberg.com to pull the article off that was talking about the new coronavirus that's coming out, and it was, the investment people was on there. FDA.gov, uscovidplasma.org. That's where you can look up where to get plasma from. pubs.acs.org. I forgot what I found on there, but I found something. And CCPP, I think this CCPPLA.org. I don't know whether this is the right website. Because my handwriting, sometimes I write so quick. But I think this is CCPPLA.org. I think that's coronavirus. I don't know. We'll just look up those websites, and let's look into this stuff, because we know this is a money grab. We know this is a killing machine. And we know our attention is easily distracted. Time a black man get killed in the street, then we take our mind off all the black people that's getting killed in the hospital. So I love y'all. We still have to be careful who our black doctors and nurses are, because they are trained in their systems. Yes, that's absolutely true. That's why I say, all black folks ain't skin folks for sure. We do have some black allies, but since the beginning of time, we have had black people, it's a group of black people from Cross Sea came over here to beat our ancestors' ass. Don't forget, the black Africans and North Africans and the black Spaniards, some of the black Spaniards also fought in the Civil War with the white folks. They also fought in the Chickamauga Wars. In fact, white people couldn't even come over here to America unless they had a black person with them. They couldn't get on the land unless they had a black person with them. And so white explorers start bringing black navigators in order to even come over here, because everybody that came over here that was white got slaughtered. Go and ask DeSoto why his body got dumped off in the Mississippi River. Go and ask Ponce de Leon why he got murked over here. Every white prominent explorer, they had to have somebody black with them. That's history. So since the beginning, white people have been using black people to usher in their agendas. This is no different what we're going through. Same thing our ancestors went through. Wow, it's crazy that you mentioned the school system. My friend is a teacher in Albany, and the Dougherty County is the only school system that is going back early in 2 weeks. And they're going back to face, and masks are not required. I told my friend they need to stand in a unified group and tell Dougherty County to wait. They need to create their own school system. Play along with this whole COVID stuff. Say, yeah, man, we don't want to go back because this virus is so dangerous. Although my plasma cures it, this virus is so dangerous. We don't need to put our kids in this situation. We need funding so that we can teach and go from there. Which makes sense in VA. State says if you have a medical issue, you don't have to wear the mask or show proof. Whew, okay. Yeah, we up. Sis speed, break it down. All right, I love you guys. I love y'all. Y'all be safe. Don't get tested. Do your research. We all adults. We're smart enough to figure this stuff out. But if you get tested for COVID, like we talked about in March and April, you will be entered into a database. You are not only putting yourself in danger, you're putting your friends, your family, your relatives in danger, because now they finna go through your records to get your friends and family number to track them to. Just don't do it. And use the power of your own mind to heal yourself. I know people ain't been to church in a while, but when y'all was going to church, you was saying stuff like, speak things that are not as though they were. Now, if you go get tested for COVID, it's mighty strange that everybody who go get tested for COVID, they don't get really sick until after they find out that they tested positive. That's mental. This is a respiratory virus. Now, it does make you really sick. All respiratory viruses will put you under. I have had a respiratory infection before. It puts you under. Okay? The coronavirus, it's a respiratory virus. So take precautions, take precautions and control your thinking. Think positive about this thing. Know that ye are God's. Go in knowing that your very plasma is used to cure it. Your very plasma is used to cure the virus and used to make drugs to cure the virus. And that should stop a lot of murders. That should stop a lot of slaughters. We need to go take out those life insurance policies you spoke of in another video. They'll leave our asses alone. There you go. Get your life insurance policy. That'll stop it dead in its tracks right there. People with life insurance policies. There's certain people being taken out and certain people that just ain't fucking with. They just ain't. If you go to the hospital and they see, they pull up your insurance and see you got some good insurance. You probably make it out. But if they see you ain't got no insurance, and you got that blood type, I don't know. They killing folks. They killing folks. Anyway, I love y'all. Y'all be safe. Keep each other in positive thoughts. Y'all be positive and support Hello Plants. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.